Hi everyone. It's Tuesday, which means I'm doing a little quick live. And today we are going to talk about a very interesting topic that I don't know, it comes up in my space almost on a daily basis, probably like 4 or 5 times a day. But anyway, cut to the chase first. Welcome those of you that are joining me today that are new. I am April Blackford and I am a functional diagnostic nutrition practitioner and I specialize in gut and hormone health for women in perimenopause as well as menopause. And today we're going to talk about the real reason weight loss feels impossible during menopause, perimenopause and menopause. So, okay, ladies, let's just say it. This phase of life is weird. It's totally weird. One minute you feel fine, the next minute you're bloated, you're hot, you're tired, and you're trying not to cry at a Subaru commercial. And on top of that, you're doing everything that you used to do to lose weight and it's just not working. So, today we're going to talk about why that's happening and what you can actually do about it. So, first, let's talk about hormones. They are the invisible influencers. Now, what's happening during this time? So, I think there's a lot of misconceptions out there about perimenopause and what starts happening. I think a lot of the misconception is that we start entering into this phase of life and estrogen just starts dropping and plummeting and everything else is just remaining the same. But that is not the case. So, estrogen and progesterone aren't on a steady decline. They're more like a hormonal roller coaster going up and down. Estrogen drops, which in turn equals more fat storage, specifically around the belly and the hips. I hear that regularly. I just have all this belly fat that I didn't used to have. How can I make it go away? Why is it so hard? Et cetera, et cetera. Progesterone drops, which equals more anxiety, poor sleep, and less recovery from stress. So basically, it ends up becoming like a constant push pull action between the two. So it's like your body's thermostat and metabolism used to be handled by a really organized assistant, your hormones in this case, and she just quit without notice. Now your stress goes up faster, sleep gets funky, and fat starts showing up in places that it never used to. So then we have the factors of blood sugar and insulin, why you end up crashing hard. So what's happening here? Estrogen used to help your cells respond to insulin so sugar could move out of the blood and into your muscles for energy. Now, your cells are more resistant. Sugar stays in your blood longer, which in turn gets stored as fat, especially in the belly. And then add in the cortisol factor, and it's pretty much a double whammy. Blood sugar highs and lows equals more cravings, irritability, anxiety, and fatigue. So, you ever notice how you used to be able to have a cookie and move on, like just not even think twice about it? Now it's like one sweet snack sends you on a 3 day spiral of cravings, bloating, and guilt. I'm just here to say that's not like a willpower, it's physiology. So then we have the stress and cortisol factor, which is the hidden fat store. And specifically, what's happening here? So, your body becomes more sensitive to stress. Simple things like traffic, a messy house, or even skipping meals are higher stress than what they used to be. Cortisol goes up, insulin goes up, fat storage increases, especially around the midsection. Also, a fun fact is that women carry the majority of our cortisol receptors in our belly. So again, that's another double whammy. Even over exercising or under eating can end up becoming a stress to your body. So here you are, you're trying to fix the belly fat by working out harder and eating less, and your body's like, cool, let's just hold on to that fat because we're clearly in danger. It's frustrating, but you're not broken. You're stressed, and your body's reacting exactly how it's designed to. Then we have the muscle loss factor, which equals slower metabolism. And specifically, what's happening here is starting in your 40s, you naturally lose muscle unless you are actively working to build it, which I hope everyone is. I hope everyone is actively working to build muscle. Um, Muscle is metabolically active, which means less muscle equals fewer calories burned. The more muscle we have, the more calories we will expend, or the more calories our body burns. So, less muscle, our body burns less calories. Estrogen also helps preserve muscle. So, when it drops, muscle loss also speeds up. So your 30-year-old self could skip a few workouts and bounce back, but now we skip strength training for a couple months and all of a sudden our pants start fitting tighter. And even though the scale barely moves, that's muscle loss talking. So it just seems like things can just switch gears at the drop of a dime. Okay, so the big question is what can we do about this? The very first thing that this, I would say this, the number one thing that can make the biggest impact that you would probably notice a difference immediately is working to balance your blood sugar daily. Like balance your blood sugar. Like that is the number one thing that can probably make the biggest impact. First thing you can do is start out with eating 20 to 30 grams of protein at breakfast within an hour of waking. So that's number one. Avoid long gaps between meals. So no more skipping breakfast and running on coffee. Like that just ends up adding stress to your body. Be strategic with how and when you eat your carbs. Like we don't have to avoid carbs, just be strategic with it. In some cases, we always want to pair carbs with protein, but start with the first meal of the day and have some carbs there to help lower cortisol, which is naturally at its highest first thing in the morning, and then strategically place them around your workout, as this is the area that this is the time that we will be most insulin sensitive, and that means that that is when we will utilize those carbs the easiest. So you don't have to cut carbs, you just need to be smart with them. Think of food like fuel, not punishment. When your blood sugar is balanced, the cravings calm down, your energy stabilizes, and your mood improves. And also, I personally have noticed that I personally noticed that I used to kind of balance, have my meals very balanced. I intentionally started cutting carbs in the last meal of my day, and I noticed that I don't wake up at that between 1 and 3 a.m. anymore and not being able to fall back to sleep. I don't wake up with the hot flashes anymore in the middle of the night. Like they were all contributing to, to a lot of those perimenopause symptoms. And I was kind of just left being confused as to like why. Like I don't understand why. I'm doing all things right. I'm eating healthy. All the carb sources that I was eating were all healthy, sources. I just didn't understand. But just that little simple change made such a big impact. Um, the second thing you can do is lift heavy things. Prioritize strength training. Start with aim for 2 to 4 times a week. You want to think of compound movements like squats and lunges and presses, not just Pilates and cardio. Those are great, but have some strength training in place. You can add in walks and low stress movement. That will actually help support hormones without the burnout and adding extra stress on the body. So it's not about becoming a gym rat. It's about future proofing your body, keeping your metabolism strong and feeling powerful again. You want to feel like you again? Go pick up some weights. And whenever I say talk about strength training and weights, it's relative for everyone. You could probably start out with some body weight training and notice a big impact. Like you don't have to be out there, doing a bodybuilding, program or trying to lift huge amounts of weight. The weight is relative for you. So to keep that in mind. The third thing that you can do is support your stress response daily. Sleep is everything. Oh my goodness, sleep is everything. Aim for at least 7 to 9 hours of sleep. Cut out over exercising, perfectionism, and late night scrolling. Those of y'all that are scrolling on TikTok and Reels and social media, cut it out. Set a timer, set a reminder, anything. Just stop scrolling. That stuff is it's like a black hole. 5 minutes turns easily into an hour, and before you know it, you're like, oh crap, it's been another hour. Consider adding in calming rituals like breathing, journaling, magnesium, adaptogens, whatever works for you. Just consider adding in some calming rituals that kind of helps balance that stress. You don't need to meditate on a mountain. Just give your nervous system a break. When cortisol goes down, fat loss becomes possible again. And then the fourth thing you can do is test, don't guess. Consider running a Dutch test for your hormones and seeing exactly what's going on a comprehensive level. Also, consider running a GI map or stool testing for your gut health. There is a very significant connection to our gut and hormones, so consider maybe pairing the two and running that. Also, if you find that your energy is consistently low, look into some nutrient testing. That could make a big difference. So it's almost like if your car isn't running right and you open the hood, your body deserves that too. Don't throw supplements or diets at a mystery. Get real data so that you know exactly what to do. The fifth thing is ditch the all or nothing mindset. Like you, seriously, y'all, you don't need to eat perfectly. You just need to eat consistently. You don't need a detox. You just need support. Progress in perimenopause isn't about hustle. It's about harmony. So it's not about working harder. It's about working smarter. Small daily choices are going to be greater than the big swings. So keep that in mind. If you're watching this and you're thinking, yes, this is me, I want you to know that you're not alone and no, you don't need another diet. You need a plan that supports your hormones, honors your stress, and works with your body, not against it. So if you're ready to stop the madness and start working with your body versus against it, then reach out and let's chat. Have a good week.